So, Professor Sugden, what brings you back to the Hotel Le Bristol in Paris?
I was felt compelled to come back in the wake of the calamitous collapse of Sepp Blatter's FIFA empire. Because back in '98, just before he was elected as president, I spent many days in this hotel, beginning with my colleague Professor Alan Tomlinson, our investigation into the odious, corrupt empire that first Havelange and then his protégé Blatter had turned FIFA into. I was in this hotel because this is where the then FIFA executive members were staying. This is one of Paris's most luxurious hotels, so of course they'd be staying here. The eve of the election, which Blatter won in very controversial circumstances, Blatter himself was across town in a hotel in Montparnasse, where all of the national federations, the national FAs, they were staying the night before the election. Blatter was obviously there to do some last-minute lobbying because it was allegedly, or it was thought to be, going to be a very close-run race between himself and the then UEFA president, Leonard Johansson. I myself went across to the Hotel in Montparnasse just to see what was going on. And when there, a UEFA and FIFA insider took me to one side and said, "John, the game's up. Blatter will win the election tomorrow." And I said, "How can that possibly be? Because the mathematics suggest that Johansson will win." He said, "What you don't understand, John, even as we are speaking now, there is an emissary from the Emir of Qatar up in the corridors upstairs working the rooms of the international federations, particularly those from the poorer countries, buying votes to make sure Blatter wins tomorrow." And that, in fact, is what happened. And so when you ask the question, why did the FIFA Executive Committee under Blatter make the most foolish decision in the history of world sport governance to give the 2022 World Cup to Qatar? The answer is simple. It was payback time, because Qatar bought the FIFA presidency for Blatter.
Right, so Professor Sugden, did you actually have evidence to substantiate your claims against Blatter?
No, that was a big issue, because these allegations have been dismissed exactly as that by Blatter and his cronies for years. And when Alan and I did intimate this in several written publications, we were sued by Blatter and FIFA because of that. So my hope is now that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the US Department of Justice, and the IRS and the Swiss authorities all looking into this with their resources, that the evidence will be gathered so that we can show for once and all this historic injustice in Blatter's election in 1998 can be put to rest.
Professor Sugden, who was the man from Qatar with the suitcase full of money?
I was led to believe by my insider sources, who's none other than Mohammed bin Hammam, who of course then went on to be the leader of the bid team for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and who subsequently has been dragged into the cesspit of corruption which has surrounded Blatter and his near entourage. And of course, Chuck Blazer has turned informant, Jack Warner has promised to do the same, and the man who knows everything about these financial transactions is of course Mohammed bin Hammam. And when he starts to sing, that will definitely spell the end for Blatter.